In our game, there are three scenes: the living room, the little girl's room, and the father's room. First, when entering the game, the player will appear in the living room, and what comes into the view is the preliminary introduction and gameplay of the whole game. Players will learn that they are playing an android. In the story, the android kidnaps the in-player's doctor, and the police are surrounding the house and prepare to arrest him. When the player clicks confirm, the game starts. At this time, the player will find a 300-second countdown on the screen, which means that after 3 seconds, the police will rush into the house and arrest the player, which means the game fails. So the player needs to control an android to collect clues. Only by finding enough clues to prove his innocence and providing enough evidence to the police can he clear his suspicion. As the plot of the game develops, we will slowly understand why. The player first collects evidence in the living room. Every time they click on an item, the corresponding introduction and the corresponding storyline will appear. Players can slowly understand the truth of the whole story in this game. After collecting evidence of each item, the process bar at the bottom of the screen will increase, which represents the process of the whole game. If the game goes well, after the player has found all the evidence in the living room, they can go to another room on the first floor, the father's room. Clicking on the items in this room, the player can get a deeper understanding of what kind of a person the ghost father is. In fact, he is a person who has lost his job and has been drinking for a long time, and even has domestic violence. After that, the player can go to the little girl's room on the second floor, which is our third scene. In this room, there are 4 items related to the little girl's experience, which are the most critical evidence in the whole game. For example, the player can learn from the information in the wardrobe that the girl's father is not good to his doctor and has not brought clothes for the little girl for a long time. This teddy bear seems to be the girl's only friend, which shows the girl's lonely childhood. The girl wrote in her diary that her father had been domestically abusing her for a long time, which made her very afraid of loneliness and darkness. How much she wanted a good family. If the player does not find all the evidence within 300 seconds, it means that the game fails, and the player will be prohibited from moving at this time. The grievances in the girl's heart will never be discovered, and the crimes of her father will be buried forever. The police rush into the house and arrested the android. When the player clicks try again, they can restart the game and return to the original scene to start looking for the evidence again. This also represents the 300-second infinite loop in our storyline. Only after the player finds enough evidence can he get out of the loop and uncover the truth. It turns out that the robot played by the player has abducted a human girl and must make a choice surrounded by the police. With each circle, the robot learns that it is sick in the home as a ghost nanny. The ghost's mother died in an accident, leaving her to live with her father. Due to the emergence of high-tech robots, the father lost his job, but he had to hire a nanny robot to help his housework and take care of the girl, because someone was needed to manage the family. Throughout the ghost growth, the robot witnessed her father become depressed due to the unemployment, began to drink and commit domestic violence, causing him to want to hurt the girl. Just as he is about to attack the girl, the robot decides to disobey orders, protect the girl, and take her away from the home. This is the truth of the whole story. Trans-Erectis is a VR game where players take on a role of an autonomous AI robot, focused to deal with a morally complex crisis. Surrounded by the police, the robot must uncover the truth about the young girl's troubled life to prove its innocence and ensure her safety. By exploring the different scenarios and discovering hidden clues, players can unlock key decisions that affect the robot and the girl's future, immersing themselves in an emotional narrative about morality, technology, and humanity. Our goal is to ask players deep moral questions while immersing them in an emotionally charged story. Narrative immersion ensures that the players remain engaged with the stakes and outcomes of the story. The 300-second time loop and the urgency of the problem-solving elements create a sense of engagement and tension that enhance player focus and motivation. This was very well demonstrated during the showcase. Perhaps in the future, we will continue to refine the game mechanics to increase the playability for players of all skill levels. Expand narrative branches to provide more diverse moral dilemmas and outcomes.